In every major financial crisis, there are always two stories unfolding at the same time. One story is loud, chaotic, and filled with panic. Markets shake, people rush to exit, and headlines scream about collapse. But there is another story that rarely gets told, a quiet one, shaped by discipline, patience, and the invisible protectors that shield wealth when everything else falls apart. Throughout history, from the Great Depression to the oil shock, from the dot-com burst to the 2008 crisis, and even during the uncertainty of 2020, three silent protectors rose every time the world believed the financial system had reached its breaking point. These protectors didn't shout. They didn't promise overnight miracles. They worked in silence, and yet they saved fortunes, preserved futures, and rebuilt the foundations of economies, including here in Canada, where resilience is our national strength. Every downfall begins with the same feeling: disbelief. People think markets will always rise, credit will always flow, and opportunities will always remain open. But wealth is never guaranteed. True financial security has never come from prediction, it comes from preparation. The most successful individuals in history, whether they were investors, entrepreneurs, or leaders, understood that money has its seasons. And just like winter, downturns are inevitable. But winter is never a surprise for those who prepare their home, protect their resources, and strengthen their foundation. That is where the silent protectors come in. The first silent protector is discipline, not the kind of discipline that looks dramatic on the outside, but the quiet discipline that shows up in daily habits when no one is watching. It appears when a family decides to save consistently, even when the amount is small. It appears when an investor refuses to chase hype and instead studies long-term fundamentals. Discipline is what kept countless Canadians afloat during difficult financial periods. When markets fall, emotional decisions destroy more wealth than the crash itself. People panic sell. They follow fear. They react instead of staying grounded in logic. But those who practiced discipline, those who accepted short-term discomfort for long-term strength, came out stronger than before. Discipline doesn't rise quickly. It rises quietly, but it has saved more fortunes than luck ever has. The second silent protector is diversification, the invisible shield that stands strong when one part of the world breaks. History has shown this repeatedly. When equity markets fell, commodities rose. When currencies lost value, real assets held their ground. When certain industries collapsed, others created opportunities. Canada, with its balance of natural resources, technology growth, and stable financial institutions, has benefited from diversification more than many nations. Even during global downturns, Canada's multi-sector economy softened the blow for millions of families. But diversification is not just a national characteristic, it is a personal strategy. No individual, no matter how intelligent, can predict every shock, but anyone can distribute their risk across different types of assets, different income streams, and different opportunities. A strong portfolio is not built for sunshine, it is built for storms. And in every storm in history, diversification has been a protector that rose faithfully when everything else sank. The third silent protector is resilience, the human force that turns every downfall into a comeback. Economies recover because people refuse to stop building. Markets rise because hope outweighs fear. Innovation happens because someone decides failure is not the end, but the beginning of reinvention. Canada's history is filled with such stories. After each crisis, Canadians didn't wait for the future to arrive, they built it. They created businesses, strengthened communities, adapted skills, and embraced change. Resilience transforms losses into lessons. It allows individuals to rebuild smarter, stronger, and faster. And unlike financial tools, resilience cannot be bought. It is grown through experience, through challenges, and through the belief that you are stronger than the moment you are in. When we look back at any downfall, whether it was a market crash, an economic slowdown, or a personal financial setback, the same truth appears. It was not the strongest who survived, nor the wealthiest, nor the nor the luckiest. It was the ones who stayed disciplined, stayed diversified, and stayed resilient. These three protectors do not guarantee that life will be easy, but they guarantee that no downfall will be final. They ensure that the temporary storms of the present do not destroy the possibilities of the future. Today, we live in a world where uncertainty feels heavier than before. Technology is changing the job market. Inflation affects everyday decisions. Global tensions influence investments. And many people feel unsure about what the next decade will bring. But the lesson of history is clear. The world has faced uncertainty many times before, and every time, the silent protectors have risen and carried people through. The key is not to fear the unknown, but to prepare for it. The key is not to search for shortcuts, but to strengthen the foundation. The key is not to wait for the perfect time, but to begin now, quietly, consistently, and confidently. If you want financial stability, don't chase noise, follow the protectors. Build discipline in your habits. Build diversification in your assets. Build resilience in your mindset. These are not just strategies, they are shields. They protect your future, your family, and your peace of mind. And the beauty of these protectors is that they never retire. They serve you in every market, every cycle, and every stage of life. So the next time a downfall arrives, whether it is economic, personal, or global, remember that you are not unprotected. You have three forces that have survived every crisis in history. They rise without applause, they work without attention, and they stand strong when everything else falls apart. If you trust them, if you use them, and if you allow them to guide your decisions, then no downturn will ever break you. Instead, every downfall will shape you, strengthen you, and ultimately lead you toward a future that is more stable, more secure, and more powerful than what you had before. These silent protectors are not just part of financial history, they are part of your financial destiny.